repurposed freighter drifts through space. As you stare out at the star-flecked void, another ship comes in. Wait, is this sci-fi? I thought we agreed on a World War II campaign. Oh. Did we? That's cool. I can pivot. The smell of smoke curdles in your nostrils. Hold up, I thought we were prepping for a zombie apocalypse campaign. Alright, here's what we're doing. It's the year 3700. Humanity's elite fled to other planets long ago, taking with them all forms of advanced technology. Earth survivors scrape by with historic tools as weird phenomena plague abandoned nuclear sites. Witnesses report seeing glowing lights and the dead rising from their graves. And amidst the chaos, three strangers meet in a dim bar. A veteran zombie slayer, a disgraced general out for revenge, and a space mercenary sent to investigate the power plants. Now describe your characters. How did you do that?
Hello.
I have the right tools for the job.
We're good. We're good to go. I think Mike will be on. I think we're good.
Awesome. Yep. Good topic too.
Good. Yeah, it must be the weather or something. I'm hurting bad today, so if I'm not very talkative, yeah.
Well, you had an operation. You don't need bad weather then.
Yeah.
You had surgery. Come on. Yeah.
So.
That's amazing that you can have streams and games and stuff. And you working too, so damn, come on.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, today I got as much done as I could in the morning, and then I kind of, I got not as much done in the afternoon, but, yep. Oh, thanks, Anna. Yeah. That's a good perspective.
I feel there's some days I don't get much done, and I have nothing else to do, and my doctor told me I'm perfectly healthy, so I have no excuse more than my laziness. So yeah, if you get nothing done the next 3 weeks, it would be no one will be.
Okay.
Yeah. So you should just take it easy, and we're just happy that we can have you for more games and shows.
I will keep it. Trying to keep it rolling.
Curious.
Yeah.
The ones most courageous.
I'm going to eat a little bit here.
No problem.
Yep. Has to bend. From stillness, the magic.
We have our second day, 100-degree day today. So yeah.
Oh wow!
Summer. Yep.
Takes shape.
Summer is here, so to speak.
I mean, we had a lot of them earlier. It was actually been a little cooler lately.
Will never escape.
We've had unusually cool in the 80s and low 90s.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
80s.
Yep. But now we will have our month of 100 and something. But that's normal.
Yeah.
100 degrees here this time of year is normal. 115 is high.
Yeah. Everyone's doing well. Yeah, that's actually the first Legends of War since back, because we missed last week, so.
Yep.
Yeah, first Legends of War. What button? That one.
I don't think we've had a show up. We talked about Nyr Dyv specifically.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it's a great topic because it's so central to the setting.
Yeah, it's kind of vital.
Mm-hmm.
Hope everyone is well today. I got a hype train. I'm not even paying. Yeah, I'm on a different thing. Oh, thanks. Nice. 80 months. Thanks, man. Dragger here, Naz, and Vamp. Thanks.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Trying to figure out my camera situation.
Uh-oh. Yep.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
But welcome. I have two just in case.
Yeah, normally it's just like it's in conflict with something. Or it's not. Yeah, it's in window. It's not set in Windows, but it's set in Zoom.
Unplug it and plug it in, and another one might work.
There he goes. Ta-da! Hey, Sparky.
Came and went. Yep.
I'm hanging in there, Tim. I am. You know, just waiting for.
Yep.
And every day is a little bit more healing. Yeah, you like that 2K? Yeah, 2K streaming, brothers and sisters. Yes, it is nice. So. You're good.
Yeah, I just had to upload the entire strip of USBs.
Yep.
Yes, the great thing, Sparky, is I'm streaming 2K in both the downstairs machine, which is a little older than the upstairs one. The downstairs, I got a 2080, 2090 in it, and I got a 3090, the one upstairs. But the bitrate, they set the bitrate to 9,000. That's a lot. But it works.
I stream at like 1800 and it works. Yeah.
The bitrate of 1800. Yeah.
By 24 frames a second instead of 30. And it works at 1440p. I would like to stream higher, but
all the new what they can view on the other end is different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Set your resolution, or hit the refresh button in the upper left-hand corner. Go to the cog in the right-hand corner of your screen, viewing screen. Raise or lower the quality. That may do it.
There's a little cogwheel there.
Yeah, it could be that. Yeah. You may be able not to see it in 2K. So there's a lot of things you can do. You can lower it. You lower it down to 320, then up to 720. And that'll help normally.
Tower dungeon. Okay. Yep.
Oh, cool. You can always Discord that the link to me there, Tim.
I have a couple of interesting facts for Nyr Dyv.
Excellent.
Yep. Yep. And we can find some more. Let's see here.
Oh. Whew. Let's see what we got. All right. What time is it? Thanks, Wolf. Very cool. All right, let's come live. Boom. All righty, we're here. Hey, Wednesday. How's everyone doing? I got GREYHAWK Mike with me and Anna Meyer, as we normally have on a Wednesday night. We missed last week. But,
Yep.
still recovering, but was recovering even more then. Hasn't been 2 weeks yet, so every day. Today was a rough day. I don't know what it is, but not feeling the best. But I'll get through it. Right? And if I just listen and let everyone else talk, that's fine. So it was a long week. Yeah, that's good. It's just some days are good days and bad days. But we're gonna kick it off with Legends and Lore and talk a little. Thanks, man. Thank you for the follow, NT Stalker. Talk about let me do the giveaway. Set it up. A classic D&D reprints. Boom! Exclamation point drawing. There we go. Thank you, everyone, for reminding me about that. Ready. Okay. Very cool. Awesome. All right. So, Lady Vengeance, is your screen blank? Can you hear it? The screen is completely blank. Let's see if I can.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Star. Let me see if I can really do this real quick here. You want to lower the resolution of the view. That's your best bet. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. What's up, Curtis? So,
hey, Curtis.
If my guess is you don't have the capability to watch it in 2K, and it's defaulting to that. Let me just make sure the sound's off on this. Okay. When you're on the stream here, there is a cog right here. Yeah. All right. So there's a cog in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, of the viewing screen, where you have my follower goal and the bit goal, and then it says clip settings. You click that cog there, and then all the way up top here is quality, and right here are all your sources. So look, there's the 2K, and you can just set it to a lower source. That'll help it. That's what you want to do, and that should help you with your setting on why you're having trouble viewing it. All right. Hopefully that helps there. You're there. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, click that. I love to, but it's only month to month, so it's not in the things, right? It's not showing it right there on clips, because it only kept those clips in the compilation for last month, for July, when it was done. I know it's hysterical there, Curtis. All right, so busy week, of course. I got 4 streams this week. Ed Greenwood will be on Sunday night. So there, we got that to look forward to. We have a Champions game Saturday, and we got an Academy game tomorrow night. So let's rock and roll here. Mike, good topic. Nyr Dyv.
Yeah, thank you.
We've always skirted around it, I guess.
Yeah, literally, so to speak. Yep.
Yeah.
So perfect. Good idea. Great topic.
Yeah.
So we could talk about the lake itself, or everything next to it.
Yeah, we could talk about both the lake and because it's such a core central part of the setting, both thematically and geographically, and a lot of things revolve around it.
As I imagine this, we just open up Anna's map and then just go right around it. See if we can make it all the way.
Yeah.
See if we can make it all the way around in 2 hours.
Yeah.
But before we do that, there's a couple of interesting facts about the lake itself that I think we should talk about before we even start going around it.
Yeah, all right, well, that's fine.
Yeah, so we have a couple of, first of all, anyone who looked at a map of North America realized that this is a lake from North America in Lake Superior. Yeah, that it's based off, so to speak. So that's where it comes from, because back in the Castle and Crusades campaign, Castle and Crusade Society, they had kind of a modified campaign map of North America. They altered various places over time, and that lake Nyr Dyv came from that map originally, and then he made it over to Gary's campaign, and then he made it over to published GREYHAWK as well. So it's kind of a tweaked version of Lake Superior that we have, and it's has a bunch of interesting, but let's do the basic facts first. It's about, if you go from the western end to the eastern end, it's about 650 miles. North to south is about 250 miles from mid-bay to the Shieldland coast. And the area of the lake is 64,000 square miles, a little bit above 64,000 square miles. So it's a fairly large lake, so to speak. There are a few lakes in the world that I think it will be the second or third biggest lake in the world if it were on Earth. There are few lakes on Earth that are this big.
The Caspian is the only one that's bigger.
Yeah, but the Caspian is not a lake, and that's one of the other things we could say. That is a remnant of an old ocean that is still there, so to speak. And that's the interest. That's another thing that we need when we can deep dive into the history of the lake in a geography sense, but we leave that geography a little bit later, so to speak. But
I just linked to my blog post on the lake, and where I talk about the depths of it.
Oh, cool! Yep. Because it is the lake of unknown depths. So, yep.
So here we go. We'll take another shot here and do this real quick so I can bring that up over here. Double sound for a second. Yeah, it's the easiest way to do it.
Yep. The Caspian Sea is the last remnant of the Tethys Sea that was part of Earth like 20, 30 million years ago or something like that.
Okay. Oh, cool, NT. Well, thanks. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, you went to GREYHAWK talk. Here you go. You know, we're getting into some in-depth discussion tonight on the Lake of Unknown Depths. Yeah.
Not only is it like an inland sea, but I like the fact that based on the color bands that we were given in the original map.
Yeah, in the Darlene map.
This lake is almost as deep as the Marianas Trench.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that to me sounds like that I want to have it that Nyr Dyv is more like the Caspian Sea. It has a history of being part of the ocean, so to speak, back in the day. So I have it that it probably originally was part of the ocean. And because there are parts when, especially on the eastern side, that there are no mountains or anything or hills in between. So I have it that on where Ernst and Nyron is, so to speak, that was actually originally part of the ocean. So then geographically it's like the Caspian Sea in that sense. So I want to have it that deep down in the lake there is like brackish or salty water, really, really deep. Like there are some lakes that are like that, and
that salt and fresh can be separated.
Oh yeah, because they have different, the salinity have different densities. So salt water sinks, if I remember correctly, but Troy can
So would that be then good explanation for deep sea monsters on this lake?
Exactly, was going to say that, and you can actually have connections to the elemental plane of water. You can even have connections to underground oceans, and they can be various cool things that opens up possibilities, because if you have a lake that is that deep, that might be what is unknown. There are certain areas where if you put down a rope with something heavy on it, then a lodestone
could be infinite.
Exactly, it would literally be infinite. So I think that in a fantasy world that kind of makes sense. So and when it comes to salinity, that depends both on the weight of the water, but the weight of the water varies due to temperature. So sometimes you can get brackish water at the surface. Most times you will not get it. So if you have like a storm, or it's unusually cold or hot, or temperature change.
So it's shaped like Superior, but does it have the same temperature as Superior?
No, I think it's a bit warmer because it's more southern latitude to some degree, but also really deep lakes doesn't get that warm. They stay cold all year round. Like take Lake Baikal, that is probably as close to because that's the deepest lake on Earth, that is 6 kilometers deep, so about 3.5 miles deep. And that one is 4 degrees centigrade all year round, so to speak, because that's when water is the densest at 4 Celsius. Fresh water, seawater is salinity makes it a little bit colder. I think it's a few degrees below 0 in centigrades. But so that means that the cold water usually ends up at the bottom. So that's why in the real
Greg brings up the Mediterranean. Let's say the Celantan just floods out real bad.
Yeah.
Would then, and brings in maybe more salt water from the Woolly Bay, would that drastically change?
No, but there we have two things that are different from Nyr Dyv compared to a lot of lakes in the real world. One is that it's so large, meaning when I think I watched some BBC shows and stuff where they talked about when the Mediterranean flooded back 18 million years ago or something like that. Then that took months to flood in because it was so large. So that meant that there's so much water in Nyr Dyv. So even if you got like a solid connection to the ocean, to circulate that water might take enormous long time. And the other thing is that you also have major rivers flowing, bring in lots and lots of fresh water continuously. So that means it's like the Baltic Ocean. The Baltic Ocean salinity is very low because there's so much water coming in that even if it's a connection to the Atlantic Sea and the North Sea, that there's still brackish water, and the Gulf of Bothnia is almost completely fresh water. So because there is so much water flowing in, so the Nyr Dyv is I think a case of a lot of fresh water coming in no matter what, so to speak.
Got to stand a little bit.
Yep. But Nyr Dyv is, when it comes to its hydrology and geography, is an interesting beast because it has multiple huge rivers coming in. We're talking like Mississippi, Volga, Nile kind of sized rivers coming in that comes from lakes that are, meaning the Lake Quag is bigger than the Lake Baikal, and that drains into Nyr Dyv, and Wystill is as big as any of the Great Lakes in North, and they drain into it. And then you have Ton Samai and so on coming in, and so there's enormous amount of fresh water coming in.
Yeah. Gary's kind of started the world based on the area where he lived in, right?
Yeah.
The Great Lakes region. And he does have his 3 Great Lakes. I'm really surprised he didn't, clunk a couple more in there.
Yeah.
In between, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I like it that they are kind of separated a bit, and the geography is not too tied into and Nyr Dyv has been tweaked and added and stuff over the years. So yeah, so it's changed. But even, and then we have the other oddity when it comes to the geography of the lake is that it has two rivers that drains it, both the Salintan and the Nesser, thank you.
Yeah.
So and that is something that in a natural world that will only be temporary. So if you have like it,
which makes the domain of GREYHAWK and the Duchy of Ernston Island.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, technically, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So normally in the real world, then that will only be temporary. Like after an ice age, you can have like or enormous spring flood, you have 2 outlets, but a lake will always sink down until there's only one outlet, and that will be the new surface level, so to speak. But yeah, and I tried to tweak it in my campaign that Nesser is the real outlet, so to speak, and Salintan was there after the last ice age, and then someone realized that the valley is still there, so we dug it out as a canal, so to speak. So yeah, or the upper Salintan, because the lower Salintan is there anyway, because that it drains from there. It was only that bit from GREYHAWK northwards that it
was probably a creek.
Yeah.
That became
but that was my way of getting around it. But there are some odd rivers in the real world too. But that was the kind of the basics of the geography of it, so to speak. And I also have it that it's only a few inches higher than the ocean, so to speak. And that was simply me just both for making it easy to have the cartography of it, but also I wanted it to have roots in as an ocean, and it might also have connections to the ocean deep down, so to speak, somewhere. So yeah.
Here's another fun blog post about the lake. Someone long time back, 2018, did a map of shipwrecks on the Nyr Dyv.
A very beautiful map, I must say. It's awesome. Yep.
All right. See if I can bring that one up again, so I have that for reference.
We're gonna make Jay open up 100 tabs too.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. So far, so far so good. Okay. That's a good one. Nyr Dyv Shipwrecks.
Yeah, I love that map. It's so simple, but looks good, and it's simple in the right way, meaning it takes away the clutter and just focus on the important bits.
I have another map that we gotta talk about real quick before we're done with the lake itself. and that's this one.
Yeah,
Yes.
let me bring that one up. I got it here.
That's from The Adventure Begins.
The Isles of Woe.
It's a fantastic
Right,
one.
Isles of Woe.
Right.
And that just brings up so many questions, like all the extra islands and what the symbols mean. And
is it
stuff.
discussed in The Adventure Begins at all, or is it just the map?
I think all they say is, well, they mention that it's 1,000 years ago, and it's the Isles of Woe, and it was ruled by the guy who had the Codex of the Infinite Planes, and
Okay.
Then they also speculate in The Adventure Begins that the Isles of Woe is where Vecna used to rule from.
Oh.
Just one of a few possible rulers. So I thought that was a nice.
Well, isn't in that map for the Vecna book that Gary put together, isn't it like this? The costs, these are cost lands, not Vecna lands. Am I remembering that right?
His old town is, I think, on the western edge.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, this is a very interesting map, and I guess you could read a lot into it. Maybe we should get Roger's thoughts on it at some point. You know,
near Mage Point.
Yeah.
I wonder who did it. Do we know?
Oh, who did the map? It's Sam. I think it's Sam Wood.
Okay, good.
Because if you look in the lower right corner, it says Sam.
Can we find Sam Wood? Would be awesome if we can find him somewhere.
He did a lot of cartography in that era. I think all the interior stuff is his.
So we got a lot of a lot of data that we just don't know about. Like, were there other islands? If not, they wouldn't have sunk in 20,000 feet underneath, right?
Yeah, I mean, never mind the Isles of Woe where the finger's pointing, but I want to know, like, the big island, is that the Isle of Walworth?
It probably is. Yeah, the big one in the middle. I assume it is, but no, it can be the Scragholm Isle.
Scragholm.
Well,
yeah, because it's in the. But on the other hand, the Woolworth Isle, it's kind of. But this is fun because this is like
incorrect map look to it.
Yeah, which is kind of cool because the real world is full of maps like similar like this that have very little, because it was made by someone who never been there, described by people who barely been there.
And I've seen the map on my wall where California's an island.
Yeah.
And that's a real map from 1680.
Well, if you come up from the south and you have the California Peninsula, that is now part of Mexico, Baja Peninsula, then the Bay of California, you might assume that just goes up and becomes a separate island.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
All right, so that's cool. That is super cool there. Really neat area. So let's see what we got here. Any interesting details, Mike, on this first post? 24,000 feet deep is a long way down, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty far.
Yeah,
so.
and
that's as far as it measured, I guess.
Yeah.
So. And we have, I think, planar connections is another cool one you can have, because then you can have all sorts of
underwater.
It's not a place you want. Yeah, meaning that's something you don't want to go swim out there, because you can have cool stuff.
Curtis, what did I say? I don't even know what I said. That's not funny. If I said something, I don't really even know what it is. That's funny.
California being an island after the earthquake. Yes. Someday.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, but we have the coast moves in one direction and inland, so it's perfectly.
He's talking about explorers thought it was an island.
The map is from 1680 by the French cartographer de Kuiper. It's on my wall. It's cool. It doesn't even have Philadelphia, which didn't exist in 1680.
Yeah.
So. So it's a cool map. It's the oldest thing I'll ever own.
Yeah. I think on the map on the Isle of Woe, I think the center there is probably Woolworth Isle, so to speak.
Okay.
And
I just like how it's exaggerated, how close it is to the coast.
Yeah. And there they have the isles are I put them towards the peninsula sticking out, and between Woolworth Isle and the peninsula. That's where I put them.
I'm saving this.
On,
I'm getting
on
the
my,
shipwreck map.
yeah.
I don't think I have it.
As an extension of the peninsula.
It's
yeah,
like geological activity and stuff. So now they're a few hundred feet below
it makes more
surface or
sense,
something.
right?
Yeah. So I put them so have like a western basin and an eastern basin in some ways.
But that's huge. I mean, that would put it closer to GREYHAWK than it would Ernst, let's say. And that would be a big difference for exploration.
Yeah, but also back in the day, then we didn't have GREYHAWK and stuff. So that was yeah.
All right. So some neat things. A lot of information that I know about, and it's not a lot, but it was something, was actually from the Gord novel, right?
Yeah, he travels.
He gets on the Rennie barge, and what do they hunt? Was it a dragon turtle?
Well, it's some sort of sea monster,
Yeah,
and it's even depicted. If you go into the book, it's even depicted in the book. I'll see if I can find the picture, the page here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how dangerous it is.
Yep.
So and how huge it is. What's that?
I mean, no, I was going to say those kind of monsters are what first thing I always think of when I have characters sailing across the narrative. But I was looking at the encounter charts in Slavers. All right.
Yep.
Which has some great encounter charts for this area, Nyr Dyv, the city, just about anything in that central area. And one of the things on that encounter chart was a sea boar. What is a sea boar?
Yeah. Well, you have sea lions and various seals. So maybe it's a type of seal with big tusks and stuff. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, someone's got to know.
Yeah. What page was that on, Mike?
18.
All right, I got Slavers out right here.
Oh, good.
There's some good stuff on there. Like you can also encounter natural hazards like whirlpools.
Oh, there we go.
Stuff.
There it is.
Yeah, that's a great encounter chart.
Nice. Yep, Nyr Dyv. Dragon turtles on there. Colons, weather, bad weather, whirlpools, shipwrecks, a natural event. Nereid, Lacedon, sea otter, giant gar, snake. Cool. Excellent. Really good thing. I mean, you always find some hidden gems here, and that's one, you need to know where to look, right? So a good
which that encounter chart right there is 100 times more useful than the glossography, because all the glossography has on the Nyr Dyv is human encounters.
Here's the monster. It's on page 94, and it looks kind of dragon-like. It's Clyde Caldwell that made the illustrations.
It's probably it's probably it looks like a dragon serpent, a serpent type. It doesn't look like a dragon
because you
turtle.
have like the tail section is over here, so it looked like a serpent-like dragon of some sort.
Loch Ness monster type.
Yep.
Cool.
And he uses a large
harpoon
crossbow, like an arbalest or whatever you call them. These huge, use crossbow-like things to
that was cool.
Shoot it with. Yep.
Didn't he get into a fight with someone on the barge over a knife? Am I remembering that correctly?
Oh yeah, they were the Rennie. He had for some reason he didn't understand, so they wanted to sell him a wife or whatever, and he got screwed up with some Zoltan guy, I think was the name or something. So yeah.
So I thought.
Yeah, there was some old traditions he didn't understand, and all of a sudden he was involved and had to duel with one hind tied together or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you would kind of think that this would be more heavily occupied around it more than it is, but I guess in a fantasy setting, it's spots that people have adventured in. I don't know of a lot of campaigns that adventure regularly on the Nyr Dyv.
But I can understand some of, because most of the countries surrounding Nyr Dyv are good aligned in that sense, that they are not hives of evil or full of monsters and stuff. They are kind of that dull part of the continent where business functions, whatever. That's the ones that pay taxes
and sergeants spiced it up.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of slaver activity on the Nyr Dyv, and there's a lot of
Yeah, but
there's piracy and there's Rennie.
yeah,
I never even considered doing a maritime adventuring on the Nyr Dyv for some
yeah,
reason.
yeah.
Always down the Woolly Bay for me,
Yeah,
down
but
here.
look
Yeah,
at Wild Coast is like a sliver in size
yeah,
compared to the coastline of Nyr Dyv, but there's more
yeah.
adventure and stuff and drama along that little piece than it is around the whole.
True, true,
Yeah,
true,
but
true.
that's part of the setting. Meaning Wild Coast has been more of a centerpiece when it comes to Greyhawk publication than Nyr Dyv is or been.
Okay. All right. So how do we start on this? Merchant ships. There's a ton of them on here. There's a ton of Furundi warships.
Yeah,
Some shielding warships. I guess Ernst has a bunch on the eastern side.
yeah. But
Um,
also on the other, in some sense, I can understand they probably have them, but on the other hand, there isn't that much organized piracy on Nyr Dyv comparatively, because most of the traffic comes from organized countries, meaning that's before the war. Then after the war, things change in when Siege and Shieldland coast and stuff all of a sudden became hostile coastlands.
okay.
So that kind of changed the numbers quite a bit, so to speak, when the Banded Kingdoms got their own ports and access to it. Before then, it was like an inland lake in the Great Kingdom for several hundred years. So then,
Peaceful trade.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
He who shall not be named, and that's my latest one. I can't stand Siege. I just can't stand it.
I think that's what the villain is there for, to not be stand. So
Yeah.
you can't stand him. So that's good. Yeah. His mission is accomplished. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. All right, let's. I guess we'll start down at Divers because let's get the
Sure.
worst out of the way
Yep.
first,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yep.
then work around, go north from
Yep.
there.
At the Velverdiv
Actually,
estuary.
we'll go up this, and then we'll go around from there. All right, how's that sound?
Clockwise. Yep.
Yeah, but we'll go up the right side on this little
on the
abutment,
right
and then go around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, you got all the way down south here, Free City of Divers. It's almost as quick. Like land's pretty quick to Greyhawk, but there's a lot of sea travel from Divers to Greyhawk as well.
Yeah, and surprisingly, one thing that always surprising me is that why are there so little people that live on the Greyhawk Peninsula? Meaning it should be prime territory. It's in the middle of the lake in that sense that it's there ought to be one or two big cities because it's a perfect trading spot. So there must be a reason. I know that the real reason is probably was just overlooked in publishing history, but there should be like an in-game reason why there isn't a big city there or something, why no one is living there. So I made it very hilly because no agriculture or anything like that. So yeah,
it's one of those questions that I think it's just a matter of where people were venturing and where people made locations,
Yeah.
So all righty. Up this side, there's something of importance up here. Now these are inland. There's Rubbler's Keep moved 100 times. The ruins there.
Yeah, it's moved a bit, and then we have
man, you
Castle
already
Martin.
Up there?
Yeah. Oh, what
back
we
it
skip?
up, back it up,
Yeah.
back it up. You're skipping stuff here.
Go for it.
Maravven and Eastgard.
Go for it.
Yes.
Oh, dude. So here I'm reading about this stuff. I used Maravven a long time back. I remember when the Adventure Begins came out. It was like a little criminal base. I had some guys who were like waylaying my players on the road between cities. But as I'm reading the Slavers entry on Divers, I found some interesting stuff that I hadn't seen before. And
go for it.
So during the wars, 585, or maybe that was at the end, Furundi wanted to annex Divers.
Right.
And they were like, no. And so anyhow, there was Larissa Hunter, is that her name? They ended up with a new ruler because of that, and she, took a hard line to that, being annexed. And then she went and built Eastgard, which is a castle facing the city of Greyhawk.
Right.
And then she warned them, if you come within 10 miles of this castle, we're going to war. Now I'm thinking to myself, I knew divers and Greyhawk were rivals, but I didn't know they were like this close to war, just on principle, I guess. But
Yeah. but But it's interesting because Divers used to be the capital
yeah,
of the viceroyalty of Ferrand, so to speak.
yeah,
So it was like the Western Rossies. It was
yeah.
the big outpost of the Western Great Kingdoms, so to speak, the western half of the Great Kingdoms. It was the second most important city in the empire for a while, for a couple of hundred years. And then when Furundi became independent, they didn't choose to have their capital on the other side of Nyr Dyv. So then Shendel
Yeah.
became the
I
capital.
have
So
a comment on that too.
yeah,
So
please.
in that same section on divers, yeah, divers was the capital of Friandi for almost it's 238 years. So almost the lifespan of the United States of America, right? They were the capital. And then they became independent. But it said in the writing that was that Chris Promise wrote this. He says that they moved the capital to Chendel, which was a more defensible place. Now I'm thinking to myself, well, that's
Yeah,
funny because later
yeah.
on Chendel
I
is
was
like
going to say,
undefensible.
Yeah.
yeah,
It gets
I was
wrecked.
good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I thought that was a kind of interesting sentence
Yeah.
that didn't
Yeah.
hold true.
Yeah. To me, it feels a bit like Divers is a bit like the Vienna of Grey Setting. It used to be the seat of empire, and now it's a regional little city, so to speak. That like
Okay.
Vienna is one of these huge city that used to run an empire that disappeared and vanished. So in that sense, there's similarities with Divers because I can kind of guess that Divers probably has some old imperial mighty pompous buildings and stuff
Yeah.
that are no longer they are too big for its purpose these days and stuff.
My last interesting fact on divers before we continue up the coast
Yeah, cool.
is that it says in Slavers that divers does not have an organized thieves guild. And then in the very next sentence says there's one large gang called the Alliance, and they're pretty much everyone is as part
It's
of this gang.
I was
And I'm
gonna say
like,
it's yeah. Come on.
well, that's an organized thieves guild
Yeah,
then.
So,
it's
so
more like bad analysis.
in my campaign, the most, the worst of the worst in the as far as assassins go come from divers. The
Okay.
Guild of
Well,
Assassins in divers.
maybe they want to have a nice
bad.
backwater to hang out in.
Well, that's
And
what
it
I'm thinking.
says the Greyhawk and divers thieves have a rivalry as well.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and I can tell
So
because now
assassins.
they compete. They are both
Yeah.
these kind of independent big cities that have trade,
Yeah.
but in that sense they have a little bit different because divers have their natural trade is up the Velverdiv and taking care of all that trade going west, and then Greyhawk has the one going south and east and west. But I can definitely see that there are a lot of rivalry between the two. Yeah.
Unknown why it's where it is. It's just where it was placed on the map by Darlene. I mean, that's all I can say. We just don't know.
The only thing that I would find interesting is if it were the capital of Friandi, you'd think it would have been on the Friandi side of the coast.
Yeah.
But in a way,
Right.
I can understand what they probably wanted it close enough that you can take river boats that goes up and down the
Well,
Velverdiva or to it. But they
right.
also wanted
Not
it
deep
far
water.
away enough from the shallow waters that you can take
Right.
meaning the Nyr Dyv is so large that you go with ocean going vessels.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make sure that those are not
Active.
affected. Yeah, so they wanted probably a harbor that didn't go with when there's like spring floods and stuff coming down the Velverdiva. They wanted shielded from there, and they probably find a nice port, so to speak, that was stable there. So yeah,
lots of there's always going to be conjecture when we do these as to why someone did what they did.
Yeah,
and also the son of the former king of the Beggar Masters in my game, wanting to come back one day and retake his claim, is in exile in divers. From Greyhawk.
Yep.
There you go.
Which can be a business idea. You take you harbor your enemies, the enemies of your enemies, so to speak. That exile business, like a lot of cities do in the Middle East and stuff. That's where the tin pot dictators end up after they're coup themselves out of whatever and stuff. They end up in Dubai or something like that. So
next up the coast?
Well,
yeah. So,
Ruins of World War Keep is here, but that moves around a lot, right?
Yeah,
These
we have
Yeah, these two locations are from Treasures of GREYHAWK. This is the Shroud of Kareen adventure. Falcon's Den, right, has a location from the Falcon series. But the most important one is this right here, right?
Slaver's Cove.
Yep. So we're going to bring that up.
Yep.
This is
just quick though.
Yep.
That Shroud of Kareen might explain why no one lives on that peninsula, because I think
exactly
that was an old domain of somebody.
Yeah. Martine. Right. Castle Martine. Yep. You're absolutely right. Another thing though on that, that's the. I mean, that thing is worth like 100,000 gold pieces or something. I was like, always like that's a. It was like a 4th, 5th level adventure. I was like, are you sure you want to? You know. Always talking to myself.
Yeah, Rex Fellis, that is a good good point. Good idea, good possibility. I put several stuff there too, so up my further. Campaign too. Yep.
Blackthorn. Oh man, I'm never gonna find it in here. Here it is. This is the Slaver's Cove here. This is the first Marquesa clone. Marquesa the Red is here.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. So the lowest of the levels of the Marquesa clones is out and about in this location. Yep. Oh, there you go. So they are active.
She drew the short straw.
Yeah. Absolutely. But that is part of the fun of that series, that book published. I had one of the newer people in the community react to my post that I put out this week, and oh my God, they actually named a publication Slavers, and I explained the history behind it. You know, I guess it's a touchy subject for some people, but when you put it in a perspective of good versus evil, you know.
It's pronounced Slavers.
Slavers, yeah.
Yes.
You know, but I understand that a lot of people, you know, it can come from that. I must have moved. This must have fallen down a little bit or something. I'm going to be sitting and standing a lot, everyone. Sorry about that, just due to comfort. So let me move this back up now. There we go. Not far enough. So I can only adjust this so much between sitting and standing. There we go. Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. I explained all the history behind all the slave lords and all that. All right, let's go all the way back down onto the Furyandi side now, running up. How's that sound? Yep.
Yep.
Alrighty. A lot of these are areas that are in some are in the Marklands book, right?
Yep. So, some of the Marklands. Living GREYHAWK added a few, maybe.
Yeah. So I don't know much about a lot of them. I know a little bit about Willip, but I don't know anything about.
We have Dian Rift and Wolthane, Sendrift, and Willip. Willip is the seat of the Furundian Navy. That's the royal port, so to speak.
Before we get to Willip, which is actually a very cool place, those 3 other towns on your way to Willip, have a collective name. They're called the Sentinel Ports.
Oh, okay.
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
And they all have little naval militia station there to protect. So like we were saying earlier, how this is such a peaceful, well-protected lake, you know, that this goes to show why, you know, every port's got, you know, is armed.
So there would be no reason for I could see on this rocky side it's easy to have a slaver cove. On this side it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
You know,
otherwise those are just fishing villages.
Right. Okay. So they are all Sentinel ports. Got it. Well, wait a minute. Is that count Dian Rift, or is it Wolthane, Sendrift, and Keriston?
Sendrift, Wolthane, Keriston. Yes.
Right, these 3.
Yep.
Okay, these 3 up here.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
All right, cool. You would think there'd be something here. A lot of these openings.
There should be. Oh yeah, I've added more in my campaign, but that's the
So the base for the Furyandi Navy, which is huge, correct?
Yeah. It's the population number is really high. So Willip is a metropolis. So it's
I was surprised on doing my cramming for tonight that it is the biggest city in Furyandi. And if you had asked me what's the biggest city in Furyandi, I would not initially had said Willip.
No, but it's
That's It's good information.
But it also makes sense because it's a good spot if you want to go across Nyr Dyv in various directions. So both trade wise and also it's a good place to have your navy because you have good reach across from various.
Do we have a Willip map in Campfire?
No, I don't. I've looked for one, but
I
started mapping the coast.
It's in
there is one.
There it is.
Marklands. Do they have a?
Yeah, that one. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that doesn't count because I think it's too boring.
I mean, it's serviceable.
Yeah.
So Marklands is the go-to info.
Yep.
On this. My favorite part of that map is the arsenal.
Yes.
Where it's their shipbuilding facility, and it says that they can pump out one warship a month if they want to.
Wow.
I thought that pretty interesting.
Yep.
And it says that the workforce is like 4,000 people, and like was swelled with refugee Shieldlanders, so they're all like putting into the shipbuilding effort, I guess.
World needs ditch diggers too. Sorry. Curtis is probably on. He could tell you what that's from. All right.
Willip is, I mean, as written in Marklands, would be a very fun place to base a campaign. I think it's got all the comforts of a big city.
Yeah. And
just across the lake from
other
big cities.
Yeah, and ship-based campaigns are really cool because you can bring your home base with you. So you have like a resting spot that you can bring to cool places and then get out there and so
if you're doing the war scenario with IUs, it's like right between. So you can go south to all these published adventure spots, Ghost Tower, Castle GREYHAWK, etc. Or you can go north to the wars. And Willip's like central to all of that.
Yep.
All right. Willip City map. Yeah, it does. I did not know how big it was. That's pretty cool, man. Great information.
Now I have a Willip story.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had a campaign. I had an evil campaign back when Book of Isle Darkness came out.
Meaning evil characters?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Remember the Book of Isle Darkness?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Talked about it not long ago, I think. When that first came out, my friends made an evil group, right? They were called the Brewsters because they had a brewery. Long story short, they were very evil. And on one of their many they were based in the city of GREYHAWK, but on one of their forays was into Willip. And for whatever reason, they started like setting fires and whatever. And, it became like the Great London Fire, basically. And after that happened, I had all these NPCs and even their other adventure groups hunting down the Brewsters. And they only made it to like 5th level. And I ended the campaign and said, nope, you guys tried to burn Willip down. Now them guys are gone. They're either dead or in prison. We never came back to it. Evil campaigns are hard.
Evil campaigns just get out of hand, man.
Yeah,
it's tough.
But
it's tough.
It's like evil in general, I guess. It gets out of hand. That they're playing it right, so to speak. So yeah.
No, they were arsonists.
Yep. There you go.
Sometimes you just gotta say what the F and go all out and burn things to the ground.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't even remember why they wanted to burn Willip down, but that's where it happened.
It was there.
Yeah, exactly. It was there, and they were snooty to them.
Yeah. It was like
so we're going to teach them a lesson.
Said, yeah. Why did you climb the mountain? It was there. Yeah.
One of my guys wants to have. He has as barbarian wants to call a barbarian horde on Harby one day. And I'm like, why are they going to travel from the Theronian Peninsula all the way down just to sack Harby? Because they were mean to me and they pissed me off. Okay, good reason.
Yeah, that would be like the Vikings sacking Madagascar or something like that.
Yeah, for what purpose, right? Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what you got to deal with sometimes, Mike. You know that it's just sometimes.
See, people. Yeah, if you haven't run games, this is what you have to put up with. Yeah.
But it's funny, like you have a game group like me. I've had a few of my players who've been with me the entire time, 30 plus years. And if they know one thing about Willip, it's that they tried to burn it down. They don't know, they wouldn't know anything else about that town otherwise. It's hilarious.
Well, you've utilized Willip one more time than me.
I don't think I've ever been there, but it's
That's awesome.
Another fun factoid from the book I'll throw out before we move on. Apparently in addition to having a really crazy tax system, for the war. The judges, the law in Willip is administered only by clerics of Zilchus and St. Cuthbert. Not Hieronymus, but
So
those two.
the lawful guys.
The law
Yep.
is Zilchus and St. Cuthbert.
The non-negotiating lawful guys. They're gonna.
Yep. So if you're wealthy, you get a Silchus judge, and you can bribe him, and you get free. And
Right.
otherwise, you
right.
have to put up with the yeah the Cuthbert guy, and he will
Cuthbert's
commend you
punitive.
or sentence you hard if you've done something bad. Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think you can bribe the Silchus guys. So
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Really, you think they're bribable?
Definitely. I think they're definitely bribable, but not only with money, but you have to also pay them in the future, meaning you have to become a good businessman. Yeah.
So let me just see if there's any over here. All right, there's a couple. This is a cool. You guys, if you haven't gotten this, you should get this off just to show a lot of good opportunities for adventuring. The Dangerous. All right, we'll get there. But yeah, all right. It's a cool map. Really cool map. Thanks, Mike, for reminding us about it.
Yeah.
All right. As we head up, we're going to head up into the Shieldlands.
Yeah. Now we have the Scragholm Isle.
Yeah, which is
we don't know much about it, but I like the name. I really do.
What's full with trolls?
Yeah.
I have it more like there is a rumor of a troll back in the day that gave it the name, but no one has seen a troll for hundreds of years. That's more like
that's not what it says in the book. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Oh yeah, I know, but that's the
I was surprised to see. Well, maybe not surprised, but on my reading today, I found that there is a lighthouse on.
Yep, Bright Sentry. Yep,
a magic lighthouse, of course.
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah, I even made a shield for it because you have the Scragholm Isle is one part
I don't
of
think
Shieldlands.
They'd have a lighthouse keeper and something on an island that would be overrun with trolls. Yeah, so I think it might be safe.
I didn't say it was overrun. I said there's a lot of trolls. Yeah,
a lot.
It's a fairly big island too. It's a fairly big island, so it's not a small little place. It's a big place. If you want to
live in the water.
Yeah, it's hundreds of square miles, so it's
It's like the size. It's like part of the Everglades. There's going to be bad stuff in it, right? I mean, because you got water coming on both sides. It's basically built up from.
It's an island.
Yeah, it's an island. It's been almost built up. It probably was a delta, and now it's not, right?
Yeah, I have it that there's some small little hills. So there's like a core that was like a hilly core, and then there's like surrounding by sandbanks and stuff like that. So there's like the center core is a few hundred feet above Nyr Dyv level, and then you have the surrounding. And I'm mapping it in detail now. So I have it in every 100 square feet or 50 square feet per pixel. So it's I'm getting there. So it's a cool place, and it's flat for there's a couple of little hilly bits in the northeast part, but the rest of it is fairly flat. And most of it, the average height above the surrounding water is like 10 feet or so, 15 feet. And then you have like a core 1/4 of the island that is like 50 to 100 feet above. I think the highest point will probably be like 200 feet or so high up. So there's a little bit of rock in the middle of it. That's why the river split up in the first place, so to speak.
Who controls Scragholm Isle in
I think it's on the Shieldlands side. Yeah.
Shieldlands.
Yeah, I think it's on the Shieldlands side. Yeah.
Alrighty. So as we continue onward,
then we have we have the continue with the Shieldland bit. So then we have the Woolworth Isle. That is some of the oldest names in publication history, because the county of Woolworth was Gary Gygax's first of all. It's the county in Wisconsin where Lake Geneva is.
Someone needs to take a picture next to that Woolworth county side.
It's on that Route 50 or whatever you're going in town. Into.
So Woolworth, the county of Woolworth was Gary Gygax's realm in the Castle and Crusade campaign, in the Castle and Crusade Society, before D&D was when they started playing fantasy games. And then he took that into the GREYHAWK setting, and that became Woolworth Isle, and part of the Shieldlands were run by the Woolworths. So that's how we got the part, so to speak.
So before we talk about Edmundford, I'm curious what goes on in the rest of the island.
Not much. We don't know hardly anything of the rest of the island. I've tried to scour for information, but we don't know much at all. There's only one other place that is mentioned, and that's Corell's Watch. Yeah. That is like a keep or watchtower or lighthouse on the northeastern and the opposite end from Edmundford. I think those are the only two names we actually have from.
So I know you think a lot about geography and the reason behind it, Anna. Why is Edmundford on the southern coast and not on the coast it's facing the country that it's the capital of?
I think because Edmundford was not, it's founded before the Shieldlands. I think the reason they put it on that side, two reasons. One, if you go and explore the rest of the lake, it's a good spot. And secondly, I had to make it, when I mapped the island, that it has a natural port. The best natural port on the island is that spot. And it's also good if you want to dominate the lake. Edmundford is a really, really good spot to keep your forces, so to speak, because it's the place where you have the shortest sail to all over the. If you want to dominate the whole lake, you can do that with fewer ship from Edmundford than you can from any other one, because the other ones are you have furthest away. This is centrally located as possible in the lake, so to speak. So and also you get fewer raids from the north, from the land sides in a way. So to be far away from land can be an asset as well. So
what was you've all played Pirates. What was the Tortuga? It reminds me of where Tortuga was placed.
Oh yeah, the pirate game. Yeah.
Yeah, Pirate. It was on the southern.
I only played a Swedish version, so I'm not sure if it was the same version.
It was a British colony.
Yeah. So, I remember Genoa was part of that, and there was some other as well.
Yeah, I just remember that back in the day. But
yep.
But is that I guess that's still the new old capital where you got Critwall up.
Yeah, Critwall is the new capital, so to speak. And I also have it that Edmundford I have as it old. That was the Origians as they started settling around. They founded Edmundford back in like probably before the GREYHAWK, so when like -200 or something like that.
Surprisingly, I've never used Edmundford.
Like me neither. I haven't used it directly.
But I use the Evil, which is your best source on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he invades it.
Yeah, it talks about there's twin keeps.
Yeah.
Right. It's a fortress. The biggest castle on the lake.
Yeah.
And then there's a citadel of holy shielding, which is ruined in the time of Vane.
Yeah, they.
So the Knights of the Heart are based there, or I mean, Knights of Holy Shielding are based there.
Well, but I don't think they had that much of a base there because their main purpose was to protect the Shieldlands.
Yeah,
the island
they're
was
on the mainland.
Yeah, and also I have it. How the heck did IUs manage to pull off the occupying that? He doesn't have a navy or anything. Meaning, how the heck did he even?
They abandoned it. They evacuated the island.
Yeah, to me that's ridiculous. That's the safest place they have. So why the heck do they? And yeah, that to me doesn't make sense one bit. To me, it seems like someone told him
and
to
it
do
says
it.
There's a bunch of warships left behind that IUs forces just don't know how to use.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But first of all, I don't think they can use rafters, or rather, they are. Yeah.
Well, we had it. Vane lost it in a subterfuge adventure we did a long time ago. One of Walt's high-level mage thieves did it, and they recaptured that with a joint, Furondi warships. Yep. It's a place that eyes can't hold on to.
No, I never in my campaign. He never
Yeah.
even took it because it was
Yeah.
like beyond his reach. So
Yeah.
so they kept it. And that meant that the Shieldlanders had one steady base they can keep coming back to, so to speak. So and Scragholm Isle was never taken either, and also Critwall was barely held on, so to speak. It was never completely captured, but it was under siege. But since they could resupply the ocean from the river, that meant that it was hard. Critwall is a damn hard
Thanks,
place
Patrick.
to lay siege to. It's a mesa surrounded by water on three sides, so it's
which is impossible, Tim, because it's the Lake of Unknown Depths. So
yeah,
it's super deep.
Well, we know that in the GREYHAWK era, they dug a tunnel from Shieldlands to GREYHAWK under the lake. So, but that was more of a mistake, I think. Yeah.
That's an oversight.
That was someone who came up with a dumb idea. So I oversee that fact never happened. Yeah.
Those guys should have known better.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So we got some locations here. We're not talking about Alhastra because I do not want to talk about Zeech anymore.
Well, we have the other one. We have the other big or fairly big port on in Shieldlands, are Axeport.
Yep.
That is mentioned in a few places. We have no details of it. It's just mentioned. I'm not sure if it was a Card Sergeant era or a Living GREYHAWK invention.
It's in I Use the Evil.
Oh, okay, good. So that's it's a Sergeant era.
And it talks about how it handles the traffic on the Corel Strait from, via Edmundford. So if you're saying, the Knights of Holy Shielding are on the mainland, this is the go-between.
Exactly, and it makes perfect sense to have a port there on the coast to meaning Critwall is the bastion up there, and that was built. I have it that it was built by the Great Kingdom as a northern bastion for further conquest. That never happened, but it makes sense to have Axeport so you can have easy access in and out from stuff.
I wish I could show you this, but I have with the Shieldlanders have the control of the middle finger. So I can't do it on my screen here, but you get this. So I got this, right? And if you put the finger over where Homer's hold is and around, from Critwall, you got down to your one side over to Battle Down is on the other side, and the middle finger all the way up. And that's what they recontrol now.
Yep.
So running up that middle area.
In my campaign, they're just about to take over Dellard and Axeport. Dellard is my invention. I put it there west of Axeport. There is the river that
you did a lot of adventuring with your group in there, right?
Oh, yeah. We adventured around the Dellard and a little place called Aldet that I invented there and stuff. So that coast from Axeport to Critwall we adventured 5 years in that area there. Yeah.
That's cool.
And they've leveled up to second level.
No, fifth level eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, Mike.
Yeah, in 5 years, but it took a year to get the first level. So yeah, yeah, it took a long time. It took so long that several players complained, but they stayed in the game.
Oh, no.
So
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Shout outs. Didn't get my shout outs done. There we go.
And then we have one of the interesting rivers. Since we should not talk about siege, we leave that part. But there's an interesting river that comes out in the northeast, and I'm not talking about Artonsamai. I'm talking about the Yellow Flow River. That is kind of I'm mapping it right now.
Where
and
is
it's starting up in the fluvial swamp, and then it flows west of the White Plume Mountain, and then it goes out just northeast of Radagast City. And it's one of these little interesting.
So it's got to be this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it used to be the eastern border of the Shieldlands, and then Siege rebelled and stuff, so that way it disappeared, and it became a river inside the Bandit Kingdoms after when the Bandit Kingdom got a coast.
Ever mysterious Tim, he is still there? Let's see if he's still on. He hops on quickly. Yeah, maybe he's not. He could have hopped off.
But it's a cool river that
I never noticed that, but that gives Shieldlands an eastern border, like you said.
Yeah. Originally, that was the eastern border of the Shieldlands.
Look what's on that river. Fortress Elendar.
Yep. and plague fields and stuff. And I also love the name because the yellow flow, since volcanoes put a lot of sulfur and various nasty chemicals and stuff out, and they flow out with the water. So I can, after when the white plume has an eruption, the water could definitely be yellow, so to speak. So the name, I also like the name because it ties into its volcanic nature around. So I think it's great naming convention. It's cool to have it there.
That's
And
the kind of stuff I like to hear on these topics, and giving some color to the geography.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's cool, and that is one of the things that is really cool. Now I have mapped soon. Now I have mapped the whole from the effluvial swamp all the way down to the coast, and it's a really cool river that has mighty volcanic formations and stuff. So that is a map that will be really cool when it comes out in not too distant future. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Anyone have any so far questions or comments about anything we've discussed so far, going through the Shieldlands and for your Undead divers?
Cool river, yes, that's awesome. Yeah, since we have a cool river, so yeah,
a lot of really fun.
Yeah, and then we have one of the MIG metropolises around the lake, Radagast City.
That's why I'm currently adventuring in Rich's campaign.
Oh, cool! Awesome. Yeah, and we also have Gord is there in the Gord books a bit, so we get a glimpse of Radagast City in the Gord books.
Do we have a good map of Radagast City yet?
Someone made one. We have a fan made one that is really good. That I saw
on Cannon Fire.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's on Cannon Fire.
Rich is using it in the campaign, and I don't know how much he's put of his own stuff into it, but he's got it broken up into little districts and stuff. It's really elaborate. That map is nice.
Yeah, and we know that from the Gord book, we know that there's a little suburb.
Yes, that is
that's
one of the most gorgeous, correct maps I've ever seen.
Yep, it's fantastic. Great. Yeah, it's not super accurate when it comes to the surroundings, but I will look at this one for a lot of inspiration when I'm doing my Radagast City. That's for sure, because this is an excellent map. I just wish that he had taken even more the geography of the surrounding lands into it, but I can't complain. This is a gorgeous map.
It almost looks like Venice.
Oh yeah, he's taken, and in some degrees I think it matches Venice in a lot of sense. You have a huge delta. I mean, Venice is built on the River Po's delta.
Right.
Just like here you have the Artonsamai River and its estuary. So, and there is also one of the suburbs, another town that is out in the delta as well, called Muddick, that I think it's also a great name for a city out in the mud, so to speak. So, yeah.
Who did this map? Do we know?
I'm not sure who did that one. It's been around for 15, 20, something like that.
Yeah, it's really well
done. More than a decade, I'm sure. So, yeah. But it's a fantastic map. So whoever did it did a fantastic job.
Keep this page open just in case.
Yep. And also the Artonsamai is one of these big 5 rivers on the continent too. So the Veng is even bigger, but the Artonsamai is probably the third biggest river that flows out into the Nyr Dyv. The biggest is the Velverdiva, the second biggest is probably the Veng, and the third biggest is the Artonsamai. Yeah.
And this is the Artonsamai here. Okay, got it.
Yep. Coming up from the Banded Kingdoms and Pale and stuff, 10 and up there. So the one that flows from past Rookroost and then does a bend around Eastern Bend, so to speak, and then come back. It flows from the core of the Banded Kingdom and forms the border of the Banded Kingdoms, and then flowing out into the Nyr Dyv.
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm thrilled with that city being built with a marsh around it.
That was good for 2 reasons. Perfect defense, very, very hard to attack it. And secondly, in this day and age, we see marshes as problematic areas full of flood. But if you think of it back in medieval times, they were full of fish, bird, and they were full of reeds and mud. All of that was resources. It was an area that was rich in food and building materials. So that makes great sense to build. and we have a lot of cities, medieval cities. Take a lot of the Dutch cities, a lot of German cities, Venice, and many cities were built in marshy estuaries for a reason. London is a good example. And so a lot of them were built that way because those were rich hunting grounds. They were fertile and they had lots of building material and they were easy to defend. So there, but in this day and age, we think that they're because we don't need it much. But back in 500 years ago, those areas were in high demand for a lot of reasons. So yeah. And we also oversee reeds were very useful resources back in the day. Reeds, you made everything from baskets and stuff to roofs. Thatching was often made by reeds. So reeds were a huge resource. And also mud for making bricks and pottery and stuff. That was so those two things you had basically outside your doorstep when you live in there.
Nice.
And also they're full of ducks and birds and fish and stuff like that. So they were rich. You had good feeding and stuff like that. So an agriculture in surrounding beaches are usually they get fertilized every spring flood, so to speak, like the Nile and stuff. So in the beginning, those were the areas where people started growing crops were estuaries or like muddy floodplains, so to speak.
Yeah, it goes all the way back to the phosphate zap with the
all the way.
Yep. So that is an interesting place, so to speak.
Was there a lot of description in the gourd? I forget about Radagast City.
Not much, but it's a little bit. He's there just. It's one of these. He's like his books are like a long road movie, and there's like one half chapter or something like that.
First book.
I think it's the first one. Yeah,
Man.
yeah. He goes from GREYHAWK north, the Reni, and I think it's that area where he meets the Atloy, the landlubbers of the Reni, and then he goes into the Banded Kingdoms and further east.
He gets in trouble with the Pale people.
Exactly. Yep.
Quick disclaimer: like I know I've read Saga of Old City. I'm currently trying to read Knight Errant, but I have always had a hard time digesting those books.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember Radagast City. You think if I came at it from a setting perspective, maybe I would pay more attention to it. But when I read it, it's just like in.
Oh yeah, it's one of these. He goes to shore there, and then he moves it because Muddick is mentioned there. He comes from and goes past there and disappears. Yeah, so
cool.
And there's a couple of other places along the Artonsamai where he goes with there's some kidnapping or whatever goes on there. Some things. Yeah.
Countess Belisica.
Yeah, she's the ruler of.
Is that GREYHAWK, or is she in GREYHAWK, or is that just for the setting?
I think she's in many places. I forgot if she's mentioned in the GREYHAWK books.
I thought he was the one he was chasing early. Am I remembering this right? In the book?
Oh, you have Evely is
Evely, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she was not the original ruler of that, I don't think.
No,
like I want to say from folio to box set, it changed.
Yeah, but Belisica is tying into the Gord books because one of Gord's companion is Geller, of House Geller, so to speak. And Belisica is a Geller, so he's connected to the same family as Belisica is. So, and he's kind of some sort of spy, secret worker for whatever and something. So he's this person going around involved in politics and stuff. So
yeah, that's one of my favorite NPCs. So back in our third 3E campaign, my epic campaign, one of my players was always pursuing the Countess, and I kept moving the goalpost. It was always like, oh, you need to make a diplomacy check 20, 30, 40, 50. I just kept moving it out of reach.
Yeah, I invented Belisica's son, Remy, and he's like a 26, 25 years old, and he wanted to go out on adventures. He didn't want to just sit at home. So Belisica reluctantly sent him to the Shieldlands so Katarina could keep an eye on him, and so he became the envoy, the ambassador to Shieldlands, and he quickly enrolled into going to the front and participating in war and doing adventures and stuff. So he's a cleric war priest kind of thing, a little bit. Yeah. So he's yeah.
I'm going to admit, this side I know nothing about.
It's the wrong side of the map. So
yeah,
you're
that's right.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
There's not a lot on there.
No, very
most
little.
of it's living Greyhawk, isn't it?
Yeah, we have High Mardred and Bampton, I think, are the places that are mentioned in, I think, from the Living Greyhawk Ernst campaign, because they put up a really good map and they put a few places in there just because they needed a few places. Right. So we have the city of Bampton and the city of High Mardred and the town of Low Mardred. So that's yeah.
Interesting.
That's about and then we have the Fenelmore March at the southern end of the eastern coast of Nyr Dyv. That is like a part of
another swamp.
Was probably exactly, and that's where the Franz River flows. It's the estuary of the Franz or Franz River, and then that is also probably something that floods depending on season. So if there's a lot of water coming into the Nyr Dyv goes up a feet or two, and the Fenelmore is kind of flooded, and then it probably dries out. So other parts of the year is lower. So yeah, so it's because we have to remember that in our modern world, almost all rivers are regulated. They are dams and they are flood controls and stuff. But in a fantasy world, it's like a medieval world. Rivers flooded over vast areas at spring and other times, and then they retreated into a narrow little flood path in the other parts of the year. And even the lake Nyr Dyv probably varies. So in spring, when there's snow melt up north and stuff, the Nyr Dyv might have been a foot or two higher a few months or weeks per year, and then went down. And also, if there's the lake is so large, it doesn't have any tides probably, but it's so large that if you have bad weather in one area, a lot of the water can shift due to wind and pressure difference. So you might have a foot or two in the water surface different depending on the weather and stuff.
May have answered the question I was about to ask, and that is, why do you have river swampy areas on the east side, but like the Nyr Dyv is not?
That is often the surrounding areas. If you have meaning, if some rivers, look at the extreme example, Grand Canyon, you get like a canyon, a river that is cut through the terrain, you don't have floodplains much. But a river that, like the Mississippi, that flows over what used to be the bottom of an ocean, meaning the middle part of America used to be, that's ocean floor, ocean bottom that has been raised up. So the Mississippi has vast floodplains and flood over a huge area. So some rivers, they flow out narrow, so to speak, out near water, and some of them have huge, vast deltas, so to speak. So it varies. It's the surrounding geography that's it. And some areas, the bedrock, meaning especially up north, where you have had inland ice 5,000 years ago that scraped off all the soil. That means that rivers there, basically, there's some rivers in Scandinavia that basically just flow out across the rocks. There's no delta whatsoever. It's the bedrock, so the river cuts through very slowly. But then you have old rivers that have been around for millions of years, and they have formed vast deltas that stretch out over thousands of square miles. So geology, time, and the type of the surrounding land, so to speak, that kind of tells a lot of difference.
So according to the chat, I should have the adventurers come across old whale bones in the middle of like Foriandi someday.
That you can have old fossils, and that would be kind of cool. Maybe you can animate them, or you can call back stuff. You never know. So dragon fossils might be nasty. Yeah.
All right, so we don't know a lot about any of these small little locations.
Thank you. It's a casualty. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm a hobby geologist now. It's part of my job to be a hobby geologist. Yeah.
All the way down. Lucas
is not just a geologist; he's a climatologist. And all the other ologists when it comes to geography.
Anything about Hammond's Send, Lucas?
Well, that's Nyron's little corner of the Nyr Dyv, so to speak. That's where they have access to the lake, so to speak. So they have Hammond's End is the Nyrondian port of that is close to Nyr Dyv. It's the only Nyrondian port.
On that. Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Right there.
Yep. So that's their port city with access to the so they snuck in there and have that is like indirect. It's on the river, but it's probably the river is probably big enough that they can have big like lake ships going across. So it's there.
So it's a buffer between the county and the duchy.
Yeah, kind of, so to speak, and they sneak in and out there. So I put them in, and that's probably by I didn't invent the city; it's there, but it makes sense that it's there, so to speak. And then you have one Nesser port that is it's described as a village. I want to have it a bigger that has you have what they call the Aggie's Folly, and then you had like someone built a road across the Fennelmore. That you have what they call the Fennelmore, what's it called?
It says floating road, which is interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Floating road. Yep. That is something, I think it's from the Living GREYHAWK campaign. So it's not unheard of. You've had floating roads in the real world, but not something that is 75 miles long.
Yeah.
That might be, but it's a fantasy world, so it's kind of cool. And in a way you get the County of Ernst get access, but on the other hand, it would make sense if it were to an area you couldn't otherwise reach. But Nesser Port, you can just go on the lake. You don't have to build a 75-mile long road across the swamp. You can just take a boat from Radika City or anywhere on the lake and go to it. So, but on the other hand, it's a fantasy world, so it's easier. With magic, you can explain some cool stuff. So, yeah.
All right.
And then we have another place from that has been around since the early days, Leukish.
Yeah. And that is, what's that? County?
No, Duchy of Ernst capital.
Duchy.
Yep.
Yeah, Duchy.
And I have that it's one of these old cities, probably one of the oldest around the whole lake, so to speak. Probably been around since early Sewell migrations and might be well over 1,000 years old. So it's early days when the first Iridian Sewell
Fate
came.
of Vistas, Anna, it was founded in 200.
That's okay. Yeah.
Very early. Okay.
Yeah. So it's because that was probably one of the first places that the migratory Sewell and Iridians reached, so to speak. So it makes sense that it's one of the oldest. The other ones are probably more modern, so to speak. Yeah. And then we have another part that is not that inhabited with the Duchy of Ernst Coast. You have Mystic Bay. I think it's from the Living GREYHAWK campaign, if I remember correctly. And then you have the city of Nyrstrand, that I think also is an LG invention. And then you have Salt Harbor, that I think is from the Carl Sargent era and the stuff from there, my guess. Yeah.
Backing up on Lucas real quick, I just wanted to mention, so the map in Fate of Vistas is terrible. They're all terrible.
Right. Yeah.
But there's some interesting stuff in there when I was reading about it today. One, Lucas has the second biggest castle on the lake, Adminford being the first one. All right, so that's pretty cool. Lucas Castle, very, very, obvious. The second thing I noticed about that map is they have a racetrack. And there's rules in the book on how to run
horse racing,
racing track.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
horse racing track.
Cool.
And it has rules on it in Fate of Vistas. So if you use it for anything else, if you want to do horse racing, there you go. And then the third fun thing about that Lucas map was it has a hospital. A hospital.
Huh.
I don't have any other info than that, but a hospital.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's some interesting things.
I don't know who wrote that section. That might be worth looking at. Dan Salas.
Never heard of him any other time. Yeah. Then we have the northern Ernst coast there, or the Duchy of Ernst coast, is also surprisingly empty. So that's why I made a lot of hills and stuff. I made it kind of difficult to inhabit and stuff, because that kind of explains the lack of settlement. So we have Salt Harbor, that is there. I don't know if that's an irony or it actually comes from that there actually is salt, because you can have, let's say this back in millions of years ago or something, this was part of the ocean and it dried out. There might have been terrain that has been raised up and then come back down again several times that had dried out. And that means that you might have a salt layer in the rock in areas, and that's common in some areas. Poland is full of them, and there are areas around the Baltics and parts of Europe that I know of that you have like a salty layer, and that's come from the old Tethys Sea that was evaporated out, and then there was a new ocean, and there was a new mud and stuff piled on top of it. So then you get, when that's compressed into rock, you get like a salt layer and there will be like, here you have the salt lakes here. If they get buried under dust and sand and stuff over millions of years, there will be, if you start digging, the old salt lakes that are now up in the open might one day be covered up and be a salt layer. So maybe Salt Harbor is that someone dug in there and there is a salt layer. So you have a salt mine. That might be.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at your Easy Zoom 576 map.
Yeah.
That's the one I always use. Is Salt Harbor part of the duchy, or is this something like the
No, I think
Vale?
it's part
The
of the
Vale.
duchy. Yeah. I think
But what is the Vale?
the Vale is
the
something
name of
from
this
the
valley.
Living GREYHAWK campaign. They called that part the Vale because they put in different parts. They called Siren, Koken, Savod, Palten, Echen, etc. So they put little regions, or they are like, I'm not sure that there must be baronies or something like that. But yeah, so they're different subdivisions of Ernst from there. So yeah.
Cool. Now we get into the northern Cairn Hills.
Exactly. Yeah. Now we're coming back to old adventure-rich areas again, where there's more stuff. Yeah, we have a Reni camp that is mentioned from the Ashes. I think there's that map that was really beautifully done that has a Reni camp marked there as well.
Yeah.
And then we
you
have
would
a little.
think that's like a Rennie camp. You'd think there would be lots of.
Probably is.
Yeah. But and it also makes sense that they have little secluded coves that are hard to reach from the land, but easy once if you come with a barge along the coast. If you have a cliffy coast, you often get these kind of, because the water erodes the cliffs from under, so to speak. So you often get areas where you can be secluded and shielded coming from the ocean, and no one can see you when you hide there if you come from the land side, so to speak. So it makes sense that the Reni can find these little hidey spots around the lake where you can shelter and trade clandestinely with nefarious people and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of the locations, but I don't know anything about Houghton or Half Moon or
No,
Andre.
these are just mentioned from the Ashes, I think, on the map, but they're not detailed.
Probably fishing villages or some kind of.
Yeah, you have Half Moon and so on. But then we have a place that is detailed, and that's Tenser's Castle and Mage Point.
Right. And we do have Rick's Mage Point. It's not finished in its entirety, but when we did the Tensor discussion, he gave me a copy of Mage Point, so we do have that.
Yep.
How old is Mage Point? Like,
I don't know.
Tenser found that town, you think?
Yeah, did he?
If I recall, it was added on. He added on to it. This is this is all recent. Like, he's got all these high-level characters hanging out here now.
Yeah,
This
but
is post
Mage
Age
Point
of Worms.
the name Mage Point sounds like it was something that was created after he settled in the area, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, it's got a lot of troops. Look at the troops in here. Yeah, so it's got, and it's a whole town according to him.
Return of the Eight. That was a good module.
Yep, absolutely. And that's where you can find a lot about Tenser's Tower as well.
Maybe that's where I should have sent the Brewsters instead of Willip.
That would be funny.
Let's burn down Mage Point. Too bad.
Yep. Get an Archmage to. But on the other hand, the fleet of Nyron ought to be, of Furyundi ought to be well protected too.
Yeah, but it's there's more information on that than out of the two publications between Return of the Eight. and Rick's Mage Point there, you're going to have a decent amount, and the maps on Tensor's Tower are pretty extensive, if I recall.
Yeah.
Multiple levels. They're right near the end, I thought. That's a lower level. Yep, yep. Multiple. Yep. There's 10. There it is. A lot of the keep. That goes up 7. The tower goes up 7 floors. So lot.
Slideshow.
What's that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
data. That's a good one. Mage Point.
Mhm.
PowerPoint. Mage Point.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So there we got that and that and that. Let's go back to the map here. Alrighty. You know anything about Undre?
No, it's one of these like Haunton. It's a place that is mentioned on the map and not detailed whatsoever, as far as I remember. And then we have Elmshire we know a little bit about.
Yes, the most conquered city in all of GREYHAWK.
Okay.
I wanted just to quickly quip. Undre is very close to Mage Point, though. You think there's a reason for that place.
Maybe Andre existed, and then Tensor just built a few miles down the coast because that was the property that was available.
Well, no, that's where the Earthblood was.
Ah, got you. Yeah.
Right, that's where the Earthblood was.
There you go.
Yeah. But you know, yeah, Elmshire gets abused in multiple places.
And it's a Hobbit place,
yep,
isn't
halfling.
it?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Yeah, halflings. Hobbits. We don't have hobbits in GREYHAWK. We have halflings.
Halfling.
Yep.
It's been raided by the Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue, and raided it multiple times. What's that? What's that, Mike?
No, I was just gonna say, is it the biggest halfling community in the
that we know of? I think yes.
That's named.
Which is yeah, I
probably.
think so.
I mean, there's not a lot that are in the Crime Hells that are actually named, so probably. But it's not
That sadness, that's a good question. And lakes that are this big, they are a driver of weather in themselves.
Oh yeah.
So lakes that are this big, they create their own weather systems. And the main reasons that you get different weather around lakes is that there's one major difference between land and water. Large bodies of water are much more tempered and stable than land is. Land gets warmed up when the sun shines during daytime and the summer, and water warms up much, much slower. And then you get the difference in temperature and pressure between the land that is being heated up by the sun and then the water that stays comparatively much cooler and heats up much slower. And that drives wind. And it also, with wind comes things like convection, meaning wind don't always blow horizontally. Wind blows vertically as well. So you get circulating patterns of water. So it brings in dry air from the land, and then they get moisturized over the ocean and then shifted back into and so on. So you get sea breeze, so and so on. And then in the winter you get the opposite. The lake gets warmer than the surrounding lands. You get fog and snowstorms and various stuff like that. So lakes are large bodies of water, are especially deep ones, are a huge driver of simply due to the temperature difference. And since this is a temperate area, that means that you have even bigger differences because you have huge differences between the seasons. So when in spring, when the land warms up fast, the lake warms up very, very slowly. And that means that you get more storms and you get mist and rain, and it drives a lot more weather in spring. And then you usually in the summer, it kind of evens out a little bit. And then in the fall again, it's opposites. Then the lake is warmer and the land cools off and the thing starts over again. And then in the midwinter, it kind of evens out again. And then the change started. So you get spring and fall weather that is usually very intense. And then you have some weeks or a month or so in the summer when it's cool, it's kind of more leveled and stable, and the same thing in the winter. So yeah. So that's that was a geography weather lesson again, so to speak. But that's and the Nyr Dyv is definitely big enough to drive huge parts of the weather, so to speak.
How about mid bay?
Mid Bay is
Is it different from the rest of the lake?
A little bit different probably because there's two things with mid bay. It's on the southern side, so it's warmer than up north, and it's also surrounded by hills, which means that then you get in the summer you can get like moisture and humidity builds up because the sun shines there and there's less wind blowing and stuff, so you could get buildup of stuff. And in the winter you get like maybe more mist and various stuff, so to speak.
My wife's brother lives on the Grand Traverse Bay off of one of the Great Lakes, and that's got its own system.
Yeah.
And it's part of one of
Yep.
the Great Lakes, but it's got its own
Yep.
bay,
Yep.
So.
And I lived for a while near Lake Vänern in Sweden, that is 200 miles long or 170. So it's like a fifth the size of Nyr Dyv. But that one had its own weather too. So, and also speaking of big lakes, the waves can be big on a lake like this. You can have waves because the lake is so big that you can probably sail for a day without, if you're out in the middle, you have no chance of seeing the land. You can be 150 miles away from land, meaning you have no, it's so in that sense, it's like being on the ocean. So when you have this much water in one spot, you can have huge waves just like you have on an ocean. So the if you're out in a boat, it can definitely be like the ocean.
So is it feasible for a Rennie house barge to cross over the middle of the lake?
I think if you build them sturdy enough, yes. Because remember, there was a Norwegian guy called Thor Heyerdahl. Thor Heyerdahl. He built rafts out of reeds to prove that you could travel from across various oceans, that the Egyptians could have reached the Americas, and people in Tahiti and stuff could have reached South America and stuff. So he proved that you can literally make what essentially will be a raft out of reeds and cross oceans with it. So it's definitely technically possible to build something that would withstand. Yeah, definitely.
I would think they're
It's been
keeping
proved.
close to the coast, though.
Oh yeah, you can, but technically, meaning it's been done in the real world. So with a bit of, but you need a lot of material. You need enormous amount of reeds, wood, and stuff in order to build it. But yeah.
Speaking of that, now that just my mind went on a tangent here. Where are the Rennie getting their materials?
My guess is that you have huge parts of reeds on the where you have, meaning that you have different types of shorelines. You have the shoreline where you have the rocky shorelines where going. Then it's you usually get like there's a hard line between the land and the water, so to speak. There's not much reeds because reeds thrive where you have a few inches to a few feet deep. And so it's the river deltas. So they will go to the river deltas in order to, because there you have square miles of reeds that where you can find stuff. And then they will probably need to go to shores where they can cut down forest and get wood, so to speak, because they probably want wood for the core of a barge, but then you want reed for the flotation and the bulk of it, so to speak. It's easier to and also it's a good material because it can take a beating. Reeds is very flexible. So if you make it from reeds, it floats well because it has more air in it than wood. And it's also harder it can hit a lot of stuff and it becomes very sturdy because it's less rigid. So a combination of wood and reeds are probably a good material to build barges that can both lift a lot of weight and also take a lot of beating, so to speak. And both material will be readily available in around the lake in various parts. So you take the shallow beaches and areas around the great rivers for Indian coast, part of the Shieldland coast and stuff, and then you have the GREYHAWK coast and stuff that you will not find much of that. So yeah.
What do we know about the Shroud in Fort Harbor here?
We don't know much. It's from the ashes, I think. It's
Okay.
Port
mentioned
Harbor's a
that mention.
terrible name.
Yeah. So it's we don't they mentioned and that's it. So yeah.
Okay.
I guess they're outposts from GREYHAWK. That's I think all we know about them. Yeah.
Cool enough. Alrighty. Well, like I said, I'm standing now for a little bit here. So
Yeah.
nice quickie tour of
we've done
of the surrounding Nyr Dyv and locations. What the audience have any questions for us?
Yeah. That was a quick deep dive into Nyr Dyv.
Yeah. Which is really cool.
The deepest dive possible.
The deepest dive possible.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me see if I can move myself up and down. I cannot. Okay.
Hi, Pip.
Yep.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Rachel? How are you? We are talking to Nyr Dyv, the Lake of Unknown Depths. There you go. And some fun things that are associated with that. Like I said, barely done any adventuring on the Nyr Dyv in all these years. Like I said, we did something in Ad Munford. We did something, of course, we have Shieldlands stuff, but rarely have we gone on to the Nyr Dyv itself. But it is like I said, it's a lot of opportunities. Just the weather effects and the sea monsters alone are enough to keep you occupied. But you note you do have slaver ships on there. Any ships that may not want to barter with you. You know what I mean? Imagine there's a lot of lesser piracy, smaller, but in certain areas.
Yeah, Justinius, let's back up to Tinder's Castle. So from Mage Point to the castle, there's like a land bridge. The castle's on an island.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's
we have the castle. I think it's not in this book. I think it's in the next book.
Back to let me get back to Return of the Eight. I think it's shown on there.
Yeah, there's a good map on there. And yeah, Anna's right. The novel has a picture of the castle.
Exactly. I'm going to find it. I think it's in the
right. Look, it's on an
Artifact of Evil, if I remember
there was
correctly.
a picture going to
and
it.
Tinzer didn't build that castle.
Oh, I thought he did, but I'm not sure.
I thought he inherited it.
Okay.
No, yeah, it doesn't show the land bridge across, but yeah, there it shows it as an island. There it is, right there. C1, C2, see that?
Yeah. It looks like there's a drawbridge between or something.
I think there's a little ferry, if I recall.
Yeah.
This is Return of the Eight. So.
So with the existence of that castle, and maybe it wasn't developed before Sargent. I think that came after Sargent, right?
Yes, it's Roger Moore.
You would have thought Isaac would go after that castle.
What was that?
That's just me.
This is what it looks like in the that is Saga. No, sorry, it's Artifact of Evil, the second book of the Gord books.
Yeah, that's a great picture.
Yeah, and hopefully they will have the illustrations in if Troll Lords when they republish them. Hopefully they can have all the art in there too, because Clyde Caldwell did there's some really good art in those books.
I want to say Sam Wood might have done the maps in Return of the Eight.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're part of that era. He did a bunch of them in the late 90s that were really good. The Adventure Begins and Return of the Eight and stuff. They had some really good maps.
Good black and white illustration style.
Some of them were colored too. That were really good.
Yeah, like I said, it's on my wall of fame. It's the only second edition module that really is on my wall of fame.
But it's in that late second edition where Wizard of the Coast took over, I think.
So this is Roger Moore.
Is it? But he worked for the early days when they re-released a bunch of stuff that was planned. I
don't think at that point when he did 2.5, right? GREYHAWK the Adventure Begins. That was still TSR, wasn't it?
No, I think it was 97. It was that era when I think they published them leading up to third edition.
Maybe.
And I think Roger Moore worked a lot on that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. What are you gonna say, Mike?
So the purpose of that castle is beneath it is a drilling operation to bring up Orth blood, which I liken to like an oil drilling operation.
Yep.
So that might be, yeah, Andre could be a rival place looking for that stuff. I don't know. But that explains why it sticks out on the lake a little ways, though.
It's a good point and question for we can talk about with the powers that be someday on.
Yeah.
See if I can readjust this so that my head's not always sticking up. I'm sitting again. All right, there we go. Okay. All righty. Yep. Any other questions? That was a good one, Greg. Thanks.
The map.
All right. Let me go back. Yes.
I was looking, see how far away Doom Grinder was from Tinsel's Castle.
Yeah, it's far enough.
It's not close. It's not
no.
Far enough to not
far
be.
Enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes those wizards, they pick their places on purpose. Like Mordenkainen's castle in the Yaddles is very close to a couple adventure sites.
Doom Grinder and Sourload are close together. I make Curtis laugh, but yeah. So, nope, nowhere near. Doom Grinder's technically in Ernst, actually, too. Yeah, pretty far away. There's Hard Ride, though. It sounds like a motorcycle. Group there. Yeah. See, look at that, Curtis. Immediately did I hear? So I knew the minute I said that.
Yeah.
Yes, you just heard Sourload. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doom Grinder, if it's in the Duchy of Ernst, it's pointing the wrong way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Should have went to Lucas.
Doom Grinder no. I'm not moving it. Nope. I'm just trying to fix it. So, yeah. But the Cairn Hills running, they got a weird shape because they run around the Mist Marsh and down into the Aberrals down here. There's a ton of great things to do all around the Free City Greyhawk area. And that's part of the Nyr Dyv. And it just goes to show with all my adventuring, we rarely went out into the Nyr Dyv. It was all in the Cairn Hills. Yes, I never even thought about going into the water part.
But Gary, when he wrote the Gord books, Nyr Dyv played because Gord kind of adventures around the Nyr Dyv.
Yeah.
So it plays like a secondary role, so to speak. It's being mentioned in the background as part of the backdrop, so to speak, in the landscape.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's a lot of art of him going around. Which one's that, Mike? Is that from
That's from Adventure Begins, I think.
I guess so. It's got
that's the whole continent. That was in that booklet that came out before the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer.
That's
and the year before, 6 months or 8 months before, there was a Greyhawk Gazetteer that was like
thin one, the real thin one.
Yeah, exactly, a thin one, like 24 pages or 48
the one
pages.
Skip did.
Exactly. That map was in that one, I think.
It's the Greyhawk Peninsula.
No, or maybe it was the Adventure Begins. I forgot. It was probably the Adventure Begins.
I think it's Adventure
Begins. It was that era. Yeah, it was probably Adventure Begins. Yeah, and it's that beautiful map. I think it's Sam Wood that did those maps.
Scal asks, does the Greyhawk Peninsula have extensive copper mines like the...
Not that we know of, I think. We have very little information on the... and there's not a lot of mining, if I remember correctly. But there's not much mentioned on the Greyhawk Peninsula at all.
There's mining in the middle of the Cairn Hills, right?
Yeah,
there's communities, Steaming Springs, Blackstone, Diamond Lake.
Oh yeah, and the Grossen Grottel, exactly. The gnomes dig for stuff there too. So yeah,
and
that the Grossen Grottel is kind of technically on the peninsula, or at least borderline peninsula. So yeah.
So the mining's in the middle.
Yeah,
a lot of it's gem mining. Yeah.
So I guess the peninsula is just inhospitable because there's a lot of ruined stuff there.
Yeah, and it might be hard rock and stuff, so it's basically just bedrock sticking out. And the other thing, if anyone wonders why the rocks are kind of orangey around I took the colors from the GREYHAWK logo and made them into stone, so to speak. So it's basically that where the most orangey bits of that is the orange color of the GREYHAWK logo. So that's why I made those mountains, and also because Darlene's hills are orange. So that needs, those two things can't be a coincidence. So I simply say the hills around GREYHAWK needs to be orange reddish kind of thing. So that's the
Alrighty. So great questions. Any others?
Yeah.
For we got a. I just want to go over something before we do shout outs. Once we're done this on Virtual GrowCon. So just let me know when we're at that point. Any last questions on the Nyr Dyv, GREYHAWK, anything going on around there? I mean, it's a really cool place to with a ton of potential.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of adventuring between large cities. Yeah.
And it's it's literally the core part of the setting. So it's something every GREYHAWK fan and GM and stuff needs to at least have a little bit of a relationship with the Nyr Dyv, I think. That's part of the setting. Yeah.
All right. I got one last stupid
Yes.
thing here. All right. This is Cigar
Cigar
box set.
Yep.
Yep. Nyr Dyv random encounter table.
Oh.
Page 33. And they have dragon turtles, giant gar, lampreys, snapping turtles, sea lions, and number 6, horrific beast from the outer limits of the DM's imagination.
Oh, cool. Yep. I added
page
another
18, did you say? What page?
Yep. Shoot, 30 something, 33.
All right,
33 on the blue book, I think.
Yeah, I got it right up here.
Yeah. I saw a concept artist did some really cool sketches of a huge sturgeon with an armored head. Like, you remember those armored fish that lived 200 million years ago with armored like on their heads and stuff? Someone had made a scientific concept art of one of these fish from 100 million years ago that looked like a sturgeon with an armored head, so to speak, and that looked so cool. So I invented that, called them they're Dyv sturgeons that can be 20 feet long, and they hunt giant clams and giant crabs and stuff like that. So why they have an armored head. So I'm going to stat that out for Hawktails Ruse because those illustrations looked awesome. So I was like, yes, those live in the Nyr Dyv. So they're not like, yeah.
There should be ghost ships on the Nyr Dyv too.
Yeah.
I don't know of any stories about them, but there should be.
Oh yeah.
That'd be cool
well,
too.
the Rennie needs to go somewhere after death too. So yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny, Mike. I never even saw that horrific beast from that. Is funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's good.
It's great finding stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. And that could have been a long weekend. Sergeant and Rick Rose are like, yeah, you do shots, wolf it, and they're like, hey, what are we gonna put here? How about this? So, very cool. All right, let me. So we're gonna have a new streaming channel join, and they're not even on Twitch, believe it or not, which is kind of interesting. So we're going to come here, and we're starting to get some events. Please sign up and get your events in. I mean,
I need to check my events. Yeah.
Your events are all in.
Oh yeah, that's true. We can't. What was it? When can people sign up? 30th. Okay. Thank you. Yep.
So let's see here.
See if we got any new events. Yep.
Yeah. So here we go. We're getting there on events. We're over 30 now, which is great. Here it is, the Huntville Philharian, and here it is. Philharian, the legendary sword of King Tavish III and lost in the swamp of Westkeep in 453 CY, has reappeared.
Oh, awesome! That sounds great.
Sage Arel Devon has called for your team. She's aware that it's been a goal of yours and now maybe within reach. And this is from Murder Hobo Inc., a YouTube channel. Which live streams on YouTube.
So who is Murder Hobo Inc?
His last name is Schmidt. I think it's Frank Schmidt. Hosts Adventures in Philbar. So they're
Awesome.
running this on twice. Gonna run it twice. So there you go.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
I will
New
highlight one of
faces.
those 2 streams for them. And it was good to see some new blood in. This weekend I'll be pushing even more to get their events in. Darling got hers in, which is great. Folk and Myth got theirs in, but we still got some channels that have not put anything in, and we need that to happen rather quickly. Alrighty. I have a limited number of shirts left. 1 small, 2 medium, and 3 extra large. That's it. 1 small, 2 medium, 3 extra larges left. So 2 3Xs. I got them for the large guys. So there's still a couple of those out there. All right. So okay. Let's see what's going on, Anna. What is going on with you?
I just posted some stuff on my Patreon. I put in a post that is you can sign up for the free tier, and it's the August update. And there is some cool pictures. First, it's a screenshot of what the it's not textured, but you can see the shadow map of the new Rift Canyon. I've done the Rift Canyon in 100 feet per pixel, and it looks cool. It looks cool. It's 200 miles long, and it's over 60 miles deep.
Wow.
Yeah. And it looks kind of cool. Now for the first time, I've done several little attempts and then realized that technology is not there, but it looks cool. And now I also got my hands on the first version of an alpha version of the new world machine, where I can do overhangs and vector stuff. So that will come in handy I don't need it for this scale of map, but once I start blowing up and take regional bits of the Rift Canyon, we can do overhangs, we can model it really cool. So that's the
cool.
goal of the future. So yep. So that will be really, it's more than 60 miles deep. I didn't model it over. I simply cut off, and there's like black holes at the bottom, so it goes deeper than that. It's the land equivalent of the Nyr Dyv, so to speak. So in a way, I see the Rift Canyon as a future lake that hasn't flooded yet, so to speak. So it's and because its surroundings are higher up. But it's really, the air pressure, it's kind of interesting. That might be really, really big. So yeah.
Are you on
but
Friday?
It looks really cool. Oh yeah, I will have a stream on Friday, 6 p.m. on my Twitch channel.
Cool.
As well. So yeah.
Excellent. How about you, Mike? What's going on?
Well, I got the usual Wednesday comic, and I've been doing my Pearland campaign. We're almost done with the Forgotten Temple Thursday.
How's it going?
They're doing good. They're overlooking the bad stuff, which is probably for the best. You have to really search thoroughly to find the bad stuff.
If you miss that spot with the rung,
if you miss it, then so I'm not at all worried that they missed it. They're laden with treasure, but I won't let them level up till they leave, and so that's been bothering them. They're so used to 5e leveling on the spot that now that I make them go back to town, they don't want to leave until it's cleaned out. So too bad, so sad. Otherwise, I'm playing in Radiga City that we mentioned tonight. We'll be playing in Rich's game tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So I'm looking forward to that.
Is that every Thursday or every other?
No. We just fell on a Thursday. It's usually on Mondays.
Cool. Yeah. Very cool. Well, fantastic. This was your idea for this topic. I'm glad you picked it.
That was a good one.
A really good one.
Yeah.
All right. We're ready for this? Why? Jay, why don't you? Oh, shit. That was an accident, I swear. Just gonna let it run.
It's a compulsory one. It has to be done every year.
Thanks for the lick.
That's what happens to the halflings in Elmshire. Yeah, look, Tim's all happy. Got an academy game tomorrow night. So this ties into multiple events that are going on. A couple weeks ago, before it went out, they found a portal. That's just sad. The poor halflings. That's what the mongrels do, Star. You haven't come across the mongrels yet, so that's all Tim talked about. It was Junior, right? That's he's half halfling, half orc. So yeah, you'll come across them sooner or later. Yep. They found that they destroyed one of the portals. There was frost giantesses, and then last Saturday there are snow barbarians wandering about outside Altamira looking for this tomb, and of course they couldn't help themselves, and they went out and they kind of kicked their butts, and all of them got away, but they were warned, don't start an international incident. Because remember, the snow barbarians have subjugated the frost barbarians on and off for a long time, right? And so the higher level frost barbarians, Coco's older brothers, said, don't F with it, just like in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? But no. So that's where we are. And this one's called Curses Upon You All. So you got Coco, Korg, Star, which all were there Saturday. Sage is playing. Yes, Jefferson, exactly. One of his earlier roles. I'm only gonna have one of my regulars here, and that's Tom. Walt is sick, and so don't come. But Chad's gonna hop in and join them with his blue-haired elven earth elementalist. He's a level 2 high, but I don't care. They're going to need it. So yeah, I'll bring him along. And curses upon you all. So I guarantee you some funny connectivity jokes in this one as well, and that'll be tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. All right, here's my good news and my bad news, Curtis. Good news. Well, all right, so we're having a Champions game Saturday from 1 to 5. All right, and I'll be here. We're gonna have some fun with it. All right, Champions game. Gonna have a meeting after this for that. Don't be scared. Don't be scared about anything. It's gonna be awesome. What a blast! The Champions games always are, but we're having that on Saturday. Sunday night, Ed is back. Campaigns and plot arcs of GREYHAWK and the Realms. Let's talk about like some things that may be going on. Things are going on GREYHAWK, things are going on in the Realms that he will share with us, and that'll be Ed on Sunday. So unfortunately, Ed was going to play next Thursday night, but then just told me a couple hours ago he has to go to Toronto for a mandatory training Thursday, and it's 100 miles away from his home, and he won't be home like 9 o'clock that night. So I got to take Ed off of this, unfortunately, and we will be adding a couple other people. I just need, it's Curtis playing Fritz. It's Brett playing Erebus, and it's Bones playing Devin. And it was going to be Ed playing Ravalantar, and I just named them the Undesirables because I don't know what to call them, right? So there you go. The right man for the job. Yeah, and that'll be a special event a week from Thursday. All my guys are tied up with something else because that was the night I was actually supposed to get my surgery, but they got moved up 3 weeks, so they're already all got something going on. Yes. Hey, Brett. Yeah, so there you go, and I'm gonna add some other players to this. Unfortunately, Ed was in, but he just can't make that. So, and then Anna, you'll be up on this a week from Sunday. The upcoming somebody's the next DM's roundtable, and we got 3 female.
Yeah,
we got 3. So we got.
That sounds good.
D&D with D, Punk Rock Jenny, Brit, and Women Play D&D. So I may have to keep my mouth shut on this one. I'm just kidding. I will take the reins over on this, so it'll be a good discussion.
I don't think I need to. There's so many awesome people there, so women there, so that will be great.
And that'll be our next DM's roundtable. We're 18th.
Yep.
DM's Roundtable on the channel, and that'll be Gavin 366. And then beyond that, we'll have a Legends and Lore in there next week too. So we got packed content coming the next 2 weeks as I recover. There's Chad. So we'll see Elisar tomorrow night. And he won't be in costume, but the blue mini will be there. All right, exclamation point drawing to get in. Classic D&D reprint. If Roomheart you're on, I haven't sent yours out yet. I promise I'll get it out. I just haven't been out of the house, but it's going to go out. I have it right here. If you don't have this already, I have these these great prints of the GREYHAWK Gazetteer. If you do have it though, I have lots of other options for you. All right, I'm going to close it out. See who wins tonight. The winner is Lucitios. Let me know what you want, man. Let me know. I think you have that already. For some reason, I think you do. I think you have treasures as well. So, but if you don't, let me know. I may send a Cult of the Reptile God and an Endless Stare from Ed Greenwood in its place. So, hopefully. Oh, by the way, hey Jeremy, I know a lot of you have recovered now from Gen Con. How was it? How was it overall?
Yeah.
Everyone enjoy themselves? Everyone get Concrud bad or anything like that? No, just hopefully everyone enjoyed it, and it was good. Cool, man. How did the playtesting go for the GREYHAWK, the new GREYHAWK?
Oh yeah,
things?
Adventures League and stuff. Yeah. Yep.
I'm just curious, how that went. By the way, Craig Casey announced that he was in negotiations with them to write Bandit Kingdom content, or he offered.
Oh, cool.
Wait, let me rephrase that. He offered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good
Hopefully
time. Cool.
Something can come out of it. Yep.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to raid into Darling now because she is on a birthday stream. Okay. So she's been going for a while. So we're going to raid into her birthday stream. Just say happy birthday there. Yeah. They're well done. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. All righty. Mike, Anna, thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
and thank you everybody in chat. And thank you, Mike. It was a great topic. Yeah.
For those who need to come on Zoom for a meeting afterwards, just come on. But I got to run downstairs, get something more to drink real quick. So maybe a second or two before I let you in. All righty. See you all tomorrow nights. We'll start at 7, but if we run it, don't start till 7:30. It just depends on when people get there. So, but it'll be a one-shotter. And everyone, thank you all for the support. And I'm going to hit a wrong button. Yes, Sage, I'll see you tomorrow night. Your new 6th level bandit as she went up. Kara went up. Oh my God, what button am I hitting? Holy jeez. Sorry. Yeah, everyone's 6th level at least in that group now, so. Even the Barbarian made 6th, which is great to see. This will jump her up like 130. At 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night. Thanks.
Hi.
Guys, how are you?
Oh, good. How you doing?
Good, Anna.
Yeah.
Did
Are
I
you retired yet?
tell you?